start this morning off. What we're gonna do today is we're gonna bury deep in the marsh. Got a little cloud over the sun right now. So I'm just gonna jig a little ditch. We're gonna be using the 3X shads, but our focus and goal today is to go sight fishing. I found some crystal clear water yesterday. Stingrays floating everywhere. Redfish floating high. Perfect conditions. Water's nice and high, nice and clean. The trout fishing's been phenomenal, but we're gonna do some sight fishing today just to change it up. But in the meantime, gonna jig some ditches, maybe run into some trout, let this little cloud burn off from the sun and get that perfect sunshine so we can see those redfish. Here we go. What we got here? Let's check him. It's one of the bigger slots I've caught in the marsh in a while. Been getting a lot of 22 inches has been kind of the cookie cutter mold here lately, but we just came back in the marsh. Sun's getting up good and high for us now. This one's about 6 1/4, 6.5 pounds. And I'm just simply using that limelight on an open face jig head. We got a little grass in here, but nothing crazy where you have to use a weedless hook. And we're gonna be fishing some ditches that connect all of these duck ponds. Try to catch a few trout, and sometimes them smaller reds will be in those ditches too, but sight fish this one in this beautiful cove right here. He was floating high, pretty easy to see when they're this big. Nice, beautiful red. Let's start the morning. Oh, there goes one right there in that cove. Look at him just floating high, coming out that cove. I'm gonna wait for him to get right outside this point. This is the size that I like right here. A little bit smaller ones. They don't take all day to reel in, and you can flip them right in just like that there. Look how golden and beautiful that fish is. He was floating good and high, showing himself off with that golden look right there. That's what makes this so much fun. You're getting these shallow ponds. What happens this time of year is as we get closer to the winter, late fall, the cooler water temperatures makes the sediment kind of fall to the bottom, cleaning the water out. So you don't necessarily need a lot of grass to get a really clean pond like we have right now. And when they're clean ponds like that, these fish turn golden, they float high, they look good. And it's so much fun watching them eat that lure. Got that one on the Limelight 3X shad, and we're using light jig heads today. That's the Black Platinum and the 5/16. And like I said, I'm using that open face jig head. That way when I approach a little ditch, this is a great lure to jig the ditch for some small trout and some smaller reds. Sometimes you'll find a ditch that's just money in the bank. That's a beauty right there. Pretty good one here. Another pretty good one. What you think, Pups? I like catching them little trout, huh? There's a little big for y'all. These are a little big for y'all, man. Oh, there we go. There we go, pupperoos. Look at that. Look at that, pups. Now we've seen a decline over these reds the last several, I don't know, 5-6 years. It's been pretty tough again on that 3X shad and the 5/16, but I've said this over the last couple redfish episodes on Dockside TV. We have watched this crop or two of reds grow from last winter. They were 16, 17 inches. We found them again in the spring. They were like 18, 19s. The little bit of sight fishing we did this summer, they got to be like 20, 21 inches. And now as we get into the fall, they're getting in that 22, 23 inch range. And this is pretty much your cookie cut size red right here, right now, 22 inches. And when it gets really cold this year, it's gonna suck them out these duck ponds, and we should really have a good winter catching reds of this size, one after the other when we find them ganged up when it gets really cold and that water's going. Today, we're still in the fall pattern, got east winds this week, tide's high, we're in the really skinny, shallow flats, and these things are glowing in some crystal clear water. All right, now let's talk about the three main key ingredients to when you want to do this. You need sunshine. Don't do this on your cloudy days. You need something high to stand on. A little platform like this, like a rotomold style ice chest works great. And the most important thing, besides a rod and reel, is a good pair of polarized sunglasses. Now here at Matrix Shad, we make 7 different styles of polarized sunglasses. The polarization is the key for your eyes to cut through the water, to be able to see these guys floating up high. Getting up high on a platform angles your eyeballs to a downward motion. People that are really tall are very good at seeing these redfish because your eyes are cutting into the water, and you need a really good pair of sunglasses. Make sure you wear a hat, that helps too, blocks the sun, and it'll help your eyes penetrate into the water. You know, if you don't have sunglasses on, I could be in a really clean pond, see 50 reds all day, and you don't have glasses, you might see 1 or 2. And if you got good polarized sunglasses, you'll see all 50 of these little rascals floating around like orange stop signs in these crystal clear Louisiana ponds. Double trouble. Doubled them up right there. Get this one in, and I'll help Christy get hers. Christy's using that silky string line, which we made for crappie fishing and small trout. Got a nice double. I'm using the Limelight right there. Put this one up. See what Christy does with this one. All right.
Got it.
All right, while I get this fish off for Christy, I'll talk to you guys about another very important thing you need to have is good batteries. When you're sight fishing, you pretty much have the trolling motor on half speed, and if you're in like a dead zone, you got it on full speed, you go through a lot of battery life. I use these Thor lithium batteries. These things are bulletproof. I don't even have to charge them. I can do this for like 3 days, but with a full charge, I could keep this thing on full blast and just buzz through it. Extremely important, especially if the ponds are really, really grassy. It's a must as you're fighting through the grass all day, every day. Another thing it's great for is when we're fishing in bridges for those big trout. Just won a really nice little trout tournament a few weeks ago using the batteries, fishing a really windy day and some really choppy seas, but it held in there. I could fight the waves, fight the tide, fight the wind. Ended up winning that rodeo at the very last second after a lot of casts and some really turbulent weather with some pretty nice trout. But we just doubled up on these two beauties here. The other one I just put in the well. Christy caught this one. Those two fish were sitting right next to each other. Christy pitched on it. I was holding the camera, and then I hurried up and grabbed a rod and pitched on the other one as he was trying to get away, and these things were just too eager to eat. So we got them both. Nice double. Good job. All right, so right now the duck pond is bottlenecking down to where two ditches are meeting and another ditch, which is part of the pond, is meeting in there. The current's flowing and swirling all around in there. And when that happens, it's going to get deeper. That's just natural. Current is naturally going to dig out the bottom and make it a little bit deeper, and that's where like trout and redfish like to hang out. And that's why I like using this open face jig head, you know, just a regular old paddle tail matrix, because when you're going from duck pond to duck pond and you come across a situation like this, you can jig it. And sometimes, all right, although this is a little throwback trout, sometimes you'll run into a whole school of some good ones, and you can find them ganged up, you know, so you'll get your limit of reds and you might rally off another 5 to 15 speckled trout, maybe some more reds. Reds like this too. Usually when you catch the reds in shallow stuff like this, or in the marsh, and they're not in the duck ponds and they're in these ditches, they're usually the smaller rat red size, but it's very common to catch a trout. Or if the bass are plentiful, you know, we've been kind of on a drought this year and last year. If the bass are plentiful, the bass will gang up and stuff like this too. And what you're looking for with this is anywhere from 3 to 7 foot of water. That's where you'll find a concentration of fish. Bass, trout, rat reds. Golly. There's a lot of little rascals down there. I'm getting tattooed. But like I said, sometimes it's nice keeper trout. Sometimes it's throwback trout. This one's close. This one's missed him. Missed him. There's a lot of them down there. And that's why, you know, if you're throwing the crawfish, like if we were sight fishing with the craw, and you got to do this in a ditch with the craw, them little trout aren't really going to eat that. The reds will hit it, but not the trout. The bass like it. Oh my gosh. There must be a gazillion little dinkers in there. And another good thing, having little ditches like this nearby, when you're fishing them shallow duck ponds and it's time to pick up and go. Oh yeah, there we go. What we got? There we go. He's close. And when it's time to pick up and go, you get your engine in that ditch and then you floor it And you can jump these ponds, that way you're not having to idle or troll a motor all the way out of there. That's the 2-for-1 special. Redfish in the shallow flats on the 3X shad, speckled trout in the little ditches. This size one right here. Look at him splashing. He's all wound up. He don't like that 3X shad in his mouth. Come on up, pups. Oh! Get him, Simba. Get him. Another reason I'm throwing, you know, one of our paddle tail swim baits here over to crawfish. A, it's not terribly grassy, like I said before, but B, I'm seeing a heck of a lot of mullets. Probably one of the primary sources of food for them in here right now. In the summertime, when we're sight fishing these reds, these ponds will get grassed over, and that crawfish really helps because it's weedless. You get into the fall, early winter, the grass dies off. You can get away with the open face jig head. Great lure to mimic a mullet. Like I said before, great lure to jig in the little ditches to catch trout and reds. But I'm gonna go ahead and close it out on this episode here. I hope you enjoyed this one. I certainly had a great time. Beautiful day out here. Awesome fishing, doing a little bit of everything, and the sight fishing was fabulous. Make sure to subscribe to our monthly bait box. We're gonna be giving out some different style Matrix polarized sunglasses. We call these our Matrix mirrors. These are a must-have for doing things like this. We'll be giving away some 3X shads, some 5/16 golden eye jig heads, which was very important today. And make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, as we love doing this. Sight fishing reds, one of our favorite things to do. Until next time, guys, good fishing.